I guess, Jim, the question then, you put up a chart of some of these epicenter names like Darden, right?
Yes.
Which are in a medium-term downtrend.
Absolutely.
And if Mike Wilson were here, for example, he would argue when you're at peak growth and you start to see deceleration in growth, cyclicals don't do well.
May 12th.
Yes.
The day that the consumer price index was red hot, if we put up any chart of the Cathie Wood stocks, any one of them, Zoom, you could put up DocuSign, not sure what I don't know.
How about Tesla?
Tesla. They all bottomed May 12th, May 13th. I wish we could just put up every single chart of every high growth. That was when the CPI went up and the sea change started and the rotation began, where the cycles started going down and all these other stocks started going up.
You can see it right there.
Yes,
right.
And you can go back and look at. I mean, what's incredible is it's every one of those stocks came back. They roared back, and they roared back because people realized, you know what? It's over. It's over for the cyclicals, and it was. You can hit up every one of them. I mean, I found it pretty daunting to realize that every single stock in the rotation was the same exact chart. I mean, I'll give you some that are the same exact charts. It was the Mangold Fire is what I compared it to. You've got...
We're looking at Zoom right now.
Right.
And when you look at ARC, you're right. I mean, ARC is basically flat on the year.
They're all
now.
the same.
ARC, yeah.
They're all the same. Every single one, CrowdStrike, every one of the cybersecurity stocks.
And you can say the same thing about a lot of travel names on, say, June 2nd. Right?
Yes, that's another absolutely. These things have all happened right in front of people's eyes, and we forgot that what you had to look at was not opening economy, closing economy. It was colonial. People thought that CrowdStrike bottom a colonial pipe. No, it was just the price to sales stocks. Snowflake. Any stock that's price to sales bottomed May 12th. When the consumer price index was red hot, and people realized that Powell was going to have to slam on the brakes, whether Powell said it or not. And look at this. These are all the same chart.
Right.
They are all price to sales, and they bottom. And I don't need to ask you what you think of it, because I just told you what to think of.
Yes, you did.
So the market didn't need to hear a Fed presser. They got it.
Right. And what's amazing is people at home think a bell goes off. They think, well, you know what? We're going to hear Jay Powell, and he's going to... No. The CPI was the absolute bell that went off. And people said, you know what? This is not sustainable. We are going to see a decline in the cyclicals and an increase in the Cathie Wood stocks, the price of sales, and it's across the board. Every stock bottom, every one of those stock between May 12th and May 13th.
End, or is that are we in a
You have to see inflation come down.
Rotation again.
You have to see inflation come down. Remember, the key part of inflation, 1/3 of that inflation was used cars. Now, used cars have plateaued. There was a downgrade of Carvana. And what I'm saying is that if you want to see when you'll get a sea change, I mean, right now everybody's finally saying, you know what? The high growth stocks are where to be. Well, the high growth stocks have been here since May 12th. And some of those stocks are up 50%. I'm saying you're late in the high growth stage if we see a peak in used cars, which was the biggest growth. But there's still a lot of people who feel steel's going up. I mean, there's a note to General Mills talking about all the costs going up. Freight costs are the remaining costs.
Yep.
And we can't get those down right now.
That's part of the Piper note on Dollar Tree.
It's very important.
Freight costs are unlikely to be passed along. Although Kraft North America was on closing bell yesterday and said they're managing to deal with it. Inflation, that is.
I find that when a General Mills note says, look at the across-the-board inflation, I am concerned. But I think that if we see used cars break, we saw lumber break, and next week we get the acreage, June 30th. If June 30th acreage shows that more corn's been planted, inflation peaked.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.